BAME derives from political blackness, an idea that various ethnic groups united behind to fight against discrimination in the 1970s. But when political blackness was criticised for lumping everyone together under a single label, the term was slowly replaced by BAME. Now, more than 7.6 million people in Britain come under this category. Racism is everywhere. In the media, you can hear comments whether you're watching a live match or listening on the radio. While racism is not new, our reference point has changed. Political blackness has transformed into black, Asian, minority, and ethnic. The move came following criticism for lumping everyone together under a single label. Yet, 50 years into the fight against racism, nothing has changed.
Blacks, whites, and Latinos came together in what started out as yet another peaceful day of protests. Their message: say no to racism.
We don't want to live in a country that pretends that racism is over, because racism has never been over. Racism is still here and large today.
Especially in UK football.
Спровокували зараз болівальники Тайсона.
Since 1888, there have been just 12 BAME identified managers out of 92. Even with all the awareness, with Black Lives Matter, progress has somewhat stagnated. As you can see from this graph, there are only 4 managers out of 92 who are in the Black, Asian, minority, ethnic category. Clubs have tried to address this discrepancy by hiring coaches based on the colour of their skin. The English Football League has tried to address this issue by adopting the Rooney Rule. The USA's NFL Rooney Rule was created by former Pittsburgh Steelers owner Dan Rooney during the start of the 2003 season.
But Tony, if the league has to do this in 2020, how awful, how pathetic is the NFL? This is sad, Tone, that they would have to incentivize it in such an obvious way that they can't pull themselves together and simply interview and hire qualified black people. Are you serious? What is this, 1947?
NFL front office insider Louis Riddick is live with us on SportsCenter now with more on the proposal to reward teams with draft picks based on the race of the coaches and GMs that they hire. Louis, what is your reaction?
Yeah, all the things that...
It was after 2 of the NFL's minority coaches, Tony Dungy and Dennis Green, were controversially fired from their respective clubs despite having great records. In the NFL, clubs must interview 1 BAME candidate for head coaching and senior football operation jobs. Since it was established in 2003, there have been 17 black and ethnic coaches. That's a 300% increase in BAME coaches. In the NFL's 2019 season, 59% of black players and 70% of white were led by BAME coaches, a share that will hold steady to start the 2020 season. In fact, they are proposing a higher draft for NFL BAME coaches following the Black Lives Matter movement. In the UK's EFL, while the Rooney Rule was introduced in 2016, there has been a decrease in BAME managers, to most recently to just 4. The drop in numbers weeks ago is despite a new initiative for the EFL 2020-21 season being announced to include 6 BAME coaches under a 2-year time frame. Looking at the current managers, you can clearly see the challenges they face, not only securing a position, but keeping it. Darren Moore is now currently manager of League One club Doncaster Rovers. Moore's played for many clubs including Torquay United, Doncaster Rovers, Bradford City, Portsmouth, West Brom, Derby County, Barnsley and Burton Albion. After retiring, he turned to coaching, becoming assistant manager to Alan Pardew at West Bromwich Albion. He stayed at West Brom as their manager until he was sacked, then moving to his former club Doncaster Rovers. The biggest challenge Moore faced was him being fired after West Bromwich Albion drew 1-1 to lowest-ranked Ipswich Town. Moore is known for his positive outlook, attack-minded strategies, entertaining brand of football, and his quick turnaround of results, especially with the Rovers when they lost striker John Marquis. Keith Curle is now currently the manager of League One club Northampton Town. Curle started his playing career at Bristol Rovers. He stayed at Mansfield Town to become a manager. He then moved 4 times to end up at Northampton Town. Curle was tested when he was sacked by Notts County after 2 wins in 11 matches. To date, his achievements have been winning the playoff final with Northampton Town against Exeter City in June this year. Nuno Espirito Santo is currently manager at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Espirito Santo started his playing career at Vitória Guimarães and became a manager at Rio Ave. He then moved 3 times and ended up at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Espirito Santo is no stranger to challenges after he was sacked by Porto after 1 season of failing to achieve any trophies. He is also a trophy winner with Wolverhampton Wanderers, winning the championship title during the 2017-18 season. Sabri Lamouchi is currently manager of EFL Championship team Nottingham Forest. Lamouchi started playing at Orie. He then moved to Monaco, Parma, Inter Milan, Genoa, Marseille, Al Ain, Salal, and finally Al Khelaifi. He went on to manage at the Ivory Coast national team, moving 2 times, and is now at Nottingham Forest. Lamouchi had a series of challenges throughout his managerial career. He was sacked by Rennes after a poor run of results. He has a good reputation of achievements when he won the Qatar Crown Prince Cup with El Jaish. Many BAME football managers seem to lose their job at their respective clubs due to poor results. For example, Sol Campbell left his position at Southend United by mutual consent. This is because he only won 4 of his 23 games in charge, meaning that he had a win percentage of 17.4. Dino Maria lost his jobs at Oldham Athletic and Stevenage because of underachievements, and Chris Hughton lost his job at Brighton and Hove Albion in the 2018 season after a disastrous run of results. However, there are some non-BAME managers that have performed more poorly and still hold positions. These include Roy Hodgson at Crystal Palace, Sean Dyche at Burnley, Graham Potter at Brighton and Hove Albion, Ralph Hasunta, Southampton, Dean Smith, Aston Villa, Gary Monk, Sheffield Wednesday, John Coleman, Accrington Stanley, Steve Evans at Gillingham, and Derek Adams at Morecambe. This discrepancy between non-BAME and BAME coaches' performance is one of the biggest problems of imbalance between races. Former Southend manager Chris Powell, one of the few BAME managers last season, believes this unconscious bias towards Anglo managers means ethnic minorities are turning their backs on coaching.
I think we've lost a generation of coaches, of black and Asian coaches. I really do. I think a lot of people felt I'm just going to go down a different route.
However, the Rooney Rule introduced to fix the problem is also causing many issues. The suggested solution to provide BAME identified ex-players with automatic applicancy for coaching positions is creating tensions because applicants may not be qualified, creating bias and building resentment. But if not selected, it creates a loss of confidence for that BAME player to move towards management. There are many problems that have been related to the Rooney Rule, such as interviewing coaches because they have been given special preferences. The second problem is that the BAME players are unaware of the qualifications needed to become a manager or steps to move into a coaching role. This is something BAME manager Chris Houghton is well aware of.
It is about getting the BME coaches and potential coaches in front of the clubs, and real transparency in a process of getting managerial jobs.
The issue is fueled by a lack of representation of BAME players. The statistics for BAME players who are currently in the Premier League now stands at 35%, while the rest are at 65%. This means that there is a direct correlation between the lack of BAME players influencing the low number of coaches. One of the biggest issues that a variety of jobs are not all advertised. The third problem is the transparency in managerial jobs. This information is not public knowledge, which creates a hurdle for BAME players once they retire to go into coaching roles, unless they have inside intel. While these problems can't be solved overnight, there are 4 areas that can be targeted immediately. A career session could provide an excellent learning ground for opportunities and help players plan their future. This could encompass players at the start of their career and also a couple of years before they retire. The second most important solution is to advertise jobs with transparency. This means each club would advertise roles on their website, as well as the FAs, to provide equal opportunities. The next step would be to introduce mentor programs by the UK government to provide education in interviewing techniques, upskilling qualifications in admin, management, and computers. Finally, creating coaching experiences by pairing BAME players with the club's youth academies will provide valuable on-the-job training. With recent events surrounding racial discrimination, there are so many opportunities to examine and change our broken system. We can provide a bright future that encourages BAME players to become integral members of the FA's coaching future.